Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Rendezvous with Nandita. Today, I have with me a lady who has over 25 years of experience in information technology across esteemed organizations. She has been an evangelist in leading security with rich, diverse experience in information technology, data privacy, risk management, and a regular speaker and panelist in various public forums across domains. Now, which makes you feel that she is a professionally very, very successful lady. Yes, of course, she is. She has a number of titles to her credit. She's received the Jewel of Punjab Award from Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister, has been the recipient of the Best CIO Award for umpteen years, I think more than 5 years. And if I keep reading the awards that she's got, I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes doing that. Now, it's not only that she's been successful professionally, she's a beautiful example of beauty, brains, and heart. And I am really happy and privileged to present to you Dr. Puneet Kaur Kohli with us today. Welcome to this session, Dr. Puneet.
Thank you, Nandita, for such a nice introduction. I really feel honored and in gratitude to you. So, and thank you for having me on this platform.
Pleasure is mine. Now, I did talk about your professional success, and which I know is just a bird's eye view of what you've done. I call you a lady with a heart. I wanted to start off with your story of what have you done in the field of not only professional success, but also in terms of social development of people around you. And of course, we'd also like to hear about the beauty part that I spoke about a little later in the session today. So over to you. Share with us your journey so far.
Thank you, Nandita. So, though have been a blessed and a pampered child amongst, grew up among 7 to 8 brothers in the family. And,
Wow.
My father belonged to the insurance services and he was the former very senior management in the LIC of India. But my upbringing has been very tomboyish. In terms of that, when you grow up with your surroundings being across all the boys, so definitely it comes as a, you inculcate what you see, what is happening. And, at that point of time, when you grow up, you feel that, the men in your life is like about your brothers and that you cannot see except your parents, your grandmother or your mother as a feminism around. So I was a bit tomboyish and aggression came to me by, you can say as a default because being into all boys. But as I talk to you, I will touch about my childhood days in the later part of my discussions with you. But right now, contrary to the question that you asked me, yes, there is certain after certain years of achievements that you have out of your professional life, there is some time which you realize there is the time in which you gained your expertise. It's a time to give back to the society. In the year 2008 or 9, you can say that I enrolled myself for a program called Landmark Program, which is the Curriculum for Life. It is not a training, it's a curriculum of life. It's a once introduction to oneself, in which it's a 6 months program. And you have the forum and you have your all the other things that you do. But in the final program, which is a 3 months program, you have to make a declaration for yourself. And in that, I made a declaration for myself that I'm going to make 1 lakh women literate in technology. So that's declaration I did. And it was that I wanted to do 1 lakh declaration was not only in terms of all defined, all strata of life, it was for only and only for underprivileged who were deprived of even of earning their daily bread. So that is the kind of, declaration I took. And eventually it happened that when I started, I had 2 to 3 NGOs with me who supported me in this mission. But ultimately I became as a loner in terms of, doing this, passion. And that vibrancy came to me over the weekends when, anything in my organization, the computers or, the PCs, which were more than 6 years, 7 years old, they were about to get scrapped. What I used to do through my vendors and my partners, I used to get them assembled and used to, take them to these Anganwadi people. And on Saturday, Sundays, what they used to, the Anganwadi are the underprivileged creches where the ladies who have to work out of the life and they become the laborers, they leave their children in these creches, and somebody from outside come and take care of those kids, to educate them, and also to make them eat something, because they are deprived of all those things. So during those days, those people were not even knowing. Those boys did not know, or girls did not know what was the basic 1 2 3 or k, k, k. So, and that was the days, was CD days. So what I did to introduce them to the your animation stage, I created small cartoons for them, and this way I used to make
Okay.
them literate. And this is how, something like Chacha Chaudhary and like Sabus and all, I started with Hindi, and slowly and gradually started telling them what does an English equivalent means for them. And this way it continued. My journey started for almost for a year of 11 to 12 years. And in 2018, when I came to know that I ended up through Sparsh and one another NGO in Delhi, that I had educated, or myself I had educated, along with me was a team, more than 1,10,000 children and ladies on this
Wow.
technology. And this is what was my mission for one nomination for Jewels of Punjab, in terms of from the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. This was one of the issues. And the second, which I have taken a very recent initiative, is for the, not for the underprivileged, but it is after the pandemic, the the information and cyber security is in a big question mark, and
Yes.
especially the children who are very, between 4 years to 14 years. They are the people who are
Okay.
on, smart mobiles and all that stuff. So I am trying to do cyber security for them and for the senior citizens, which takes a very big
Beautiful.
leap in terms of cyberbullying, so that the children are, speaking to strangers knowingly. Parents become unknowing because of this online platforms, where our children are, e-meeting them, they are taking their online classes, whom they are really speaking to them, we absolutely don't know.
True.
So an
True. Very
awareness in this context is something which I have taken as a new initiative for myself.
beautiful. That's awesome. So, you said you had a very tomboyish life. What were the three key takeaways from your childhood which you think have helped you in getting so many awards and being such a good citizen of this country? Apart from being professionally successful, I'm not even going there.
Thank you. So it was indeed a very question is very well put. See, aggression is something which I said that came to me as per my childhood days, because of my father, my my brothers. Because when I used to play with them, so I could see there is a, I did not adapt to feminism, because they had the aggression, and I used to play all boys games, be it cricket or anything. This is how my passion for flying, being a commercial pilot and all, also got instilled in me,
Wow.
because
Okay.
my dad also had a passion that one of his children should be a flying pilot or a commercial pilot. And
Wow.
so technical technical education was something which I adapted from the very beginning, that I want to pursue that as a career, though I did not know what I will absolutely pursue later on. Secondly, it has also helped me to become bold in terms of taking my independent decisions in life. I don't have
Okay.
to basically depend on anybody to take my decisions in life. So that is something which helped me in my childhood days. That was my, for any child, his parents are his ultimate alpha man and alpha woman, right?
Hmm.
In my childhood, my father played a alpha man's role. I think he was the biggest mentor in my life, who used to, in every point of life, tell me to how I grew up, where I was wrong, where I was right, and the respect, being humble. So he used to always tell, do good and forget it. That is what the humbleness should come in by, by hierarchy, or you can say by hereditary. So that I got embedded through my father. And when I used to see my mother, she was, in spite of having all the education, she was a master's during 1964-65, a very well
Wow.
educated parents. So
Hmm.
I used to see that they used to gel with each other as very nice couple, and then
Mhm.
after that, my father taking care of all us three siblings in a very proper way, and we got the best of the education in very good school. We passed out from Armed Forces School, Naval Public School, Chanakyapuri in Delhi. So that is an upbringing which brought about that if the base is strong, so you don't have to, it's about, the particular knowledge that one has to, specialize in one domain. But if your base is strong, nothing can stop you, and you can, you can do well leaps and bounds. That is something, and there was no looking back after that. So this is helping me in my professional life also.
Beautiful. I think very well said. Any time in life that you faced a crisis or a difficult situation, and what did you do at that time? Because I'm sure life was not always a bed of roses the way you're making it appear. I'm sure.
You must have seen there are many incidents such like that where I did feel that, if I could have some support, but definitely, as I said, that I had my parents. Similarly, when I got married, my second alpha man in my life was my husband. And my husband, he basically, started looking my dreams from his eyes. He knew I was very passionate related to my career, and I was a very balanced person. And, whenever I got engaged, he was just one thing. He said, I don't mind pursuing your passion, but at the same time, it's you who has to ensure that there should not be any impact on your personal life. And that I ensured that. And without his support, I don't think so I would have been so successful today. In a life of all men, I think so he was that man in my life. Wherever I am, it's all because of him today. Because he really helped me out in, coming out. In case I was stuck in any of the things, I had nobody to look back. I just had one shoulder, which was my husband, where I used to, after coming back from work, or even if I was traveling throughout the globe for my different commitments of my work, I used to ensure either through mail or text or whatever, I should speak to me that yes, my dearie Manpreet, his name is Manpreet, and that like I've got struck today, what do I do? And he used to, try to relate me through his business, because he was a self-employed man. And, he used to say, in case if I had such scenario, how will I ladder? So probably understanding by, getting into one's shoes was I learned from him, basically. And then, I could see that if you see the circumstances from a particular person's minds or his eyes and getting into his shoes, I think so the scenarios are quite different. And you are able to take very good decisions in life that can be very beneficial for you. I had these kind of 3 instances in my life. One was when the year 2002, about that, when there was that 9/11, and I was in Dubai at that point of time. I used to work for a bank called HSBC Services, and I had to come back suddenly, and and there was like everything was ready when, along with me, my family had to come and settle down with me in first in basically in Dubai, and then we had to move to Germany. But suddenly it was ordered overnight. Within 24 hours, we were being told, pack your bags and move back to your home country, wherever you belong to. And that was the first crisis, I think, because my everything was so gathered, so spread out. Because I used to travel so much throughout the Gulf that I don't think so I'll be able to gather anything. I left everything, and everything was open, and I just took the morning flight and came back. And without a job and anything, I don't know whether what is the future. You don't know. Everything was very dark. This point but what I gathered was that this is a time when I have to be with my family. So that was one thing which I came out very, very nicely. Secondly, on my personal front, I basically there was a time when I had to manage my work-life balance, because in the year 2011, my husband became very unwell, and he was hospitalized because of his liver transplant. And during this time, I was heading 22 countries with the AT&T at that point of time. And every quarter I had to basically, travel. And during this time, my family commitment was that I had to be with my husband. Second commitment was that my professionalism was calling me every quarter to travel. And the third area is a commitment towards my family, which is my in-laws. And I had to maintain this work-life balance. And my kids were in the hostel at that point of time. And I did not convey them that their father was not keeping too well. So this was 3 to 4, whereas I was just one lonely person, whom to see and whom to gather. And that point of time, I feel it's like, I don't know how did I come back, but that was a time when I maintained without compromising on my quality of work, without even compromising my husband's treatments, my children's education, and my in-laws all stood besides me, and I came out with success. Though there were certain areas where I did feel that those days could not be back again, but it really taught me a lesson that was a dream where my husband really thought that you should be at the top at any point of time. He wanted to see me in that flying colors, and you should become unstoppable. So that is something where I basically pursued his dreams about me.
So, Vineet, I have a question for you. Most of the women today, and I personally don't agree with it, but most of the women I hear when they are not able to meet their aspirations or take a back seat in life, they always attribute it to either their parents or their in-laws or their spouse or their kids, saying, "Bachcho ki wajah se kiya, husband did not support." Here you are a person who said everybody supported you, but how important is it? And I'm asking you as a woman to woman, when you do not see that support coming in from your family, your in-laws, or your kids also, they're not, how do you negotiate as a woman who's been there, done that, with people to either let go or negotiate and work around your dreams, so that at the end of the day, when you look back on your life, you don't regret anything? So what are your
So,
views on that?
Nandita, I must say that, women have something extra.
Yeah.
Negotiators, we can say that. And I would not say that I will attribute that, the due to some circumstances, the ladies say that, we were being able to, we had to compromise, we had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't agree on that at all. If you have a passion and if you have good time management skills, I don't think so there sky is the limit for you. I never had very good support from my in-laws, but I had a very good support from my husband, but only during some point of time. It is when the upbringing of my children were concerned. So, between two of us, we decided he wanted me to pursue my career in a professional way, but at the same time, forgetting that he was self-employed. So his business was compromised at point of time. But we did not wanted to make our children compromise on their studies because of my commitment towards my professionalism. But there comes when I really did a lot of hard work. If you would be, you will be surprised to see when I got married, I was just pursuing my final semester of my engineering. I was just 20 and a half when I got married. And I was blessed with my son when I was just 21 and a half. And here I started pursuing my education. And after that, I did my master's, and that too in the evening, along with it was an executive MBA from Delhi University, along with my family, along with my job, along with my children who were very small, and they really needed me at all times. And it was hard, 6 to 9 every day from Faculty of Management Studies. I had to do this education. Not only that, I also took a point that I should be, contributing at least on the weekends to my family, and to, I never even sacrificed many things in terms of when the family really demanded me. Most of the time, my husband did not even know about my family commitments, whether it is towards my in-laws or it is too much to my parents' side. So that is something which, he came to know much later. Where were you? I said, yes, I have to, I had to do this thing. So I was better committed to my sister-in-law at this particular place, because there was some event at my sister-in-law's place and I had to represent them, because my in-laws used to stay abroad and I was the representation from the family to them. And I never used it as an excuse. No, it's weekdays, I'm working. If the need be, I had to take an off, and I ensured that I was there. That is how you have to maintain your work-life balance. And not only about personal and professional, I equally give time to all my dreams, all my passions, all my activities, all my hobbies that I like about myself.
Beautiful. So we must learn the art of saying no, pushing back, and also being able to, make other people understand somewhere that, as my dreams are also important. I think that's the message that you're sending.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because most women, they say that they're not able to push back or say no in most of the situations. So, you've been at the helm of corporate success, and I have a question for you from the corporate side. Now, How important do you think it is to brand yourself in the corporate? Is it important? Is it not? Can you share your experiences on that?
Um, if you can elaborate some more points to it, I'll be able to quantify much better.
Okay.
Because it's
So
a very
when I
open-ended
say,
point.
is it
Yeah.
important to be known as a successful, powerful brand in the corporate world? Being a woman leader, how important it is, and what contributes to being successful in the corporate world?
So one is thing is not only to achieve success at the corporate level, it's also to
Hmm.
maintain consistency at that level.
Beautiful.
What
Okay.
really makes you one is definitely an attitude to learn everything, an
Mm-hmm.
attitude to be aggressive, and attitude to be also forgiving is something which
Mm-hmm.
has to go hand in hand. You
Okay.
have to be at the same time a person who is very aggressive about your commitments, because when you give a commitment to your management along with your team, it's your face which really counts. And if you don't meet deadlines, then that means that somewhere you meet your accountabilities at failure. You are compromising on your brand. So it's not that you do a personal brand, it's out of your work. Sometimes you say no, your work should be louder than your words. So that
Beautiful.
has to show in your action, not only about your speech. It should be in your action, and it
Beautiful.
it comes when you deliver certain projects which much advance in time. If there are certain things which you feel that is an associated risk associated with it, which is in where whether it is personal or professional, I think so that crisis management as a leader you have to have that far-sightedness, whether you are doing it professionally or personally. Because even if you are in person also, supposing I give you a cite an example, a lady like me, I'm a single mother, and I would say that, like, I wanted to send my kids outside India, but at the same time I have something in my life. I would have a far-sightedness that yes, what is the real time when I should send my children for education, whether it should be in bachelor's or it should be in masters. And in master,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're going to at all return back, you know that is the set expectations that, because whether they will serve me or no, why are you setting such expectations? Have they been doing that work for you? Have you not lived alone? Have you not been able to grab your success up till now single-handedly? Then why suddenly all these things from the yes, you do something for your parents. There is no harm in setting expectations back, but you should see that if you have the right upbringing in place, definitely that will come by hierarchy to you back, right? It will be if they will be having the right kind of upbringing, and they will definitely not think bad that we should not be taking care of our parents. I don't know why it has to be imparted to them. I don't think so that has to be done. It should be that we are taking care of you, vice versa. You should be, when you really need, you should be there for each other. That is one thing. Secondly, I feel in the corporate world, what really matters most is, when you are at the top level and amongst you there are several men who are, and you are the single lady, at the corporate level, and at some point of time, you have to maintain that dignity for yourself to see that what is your approach, right? That dignity maintains with your accountability, what you are maintaining. And I think so over the years, meeting deadlines, having aggressive approach, at the same time a transparency of not following the hierarchy. And if any of my team members is falling and they are facing some issues, right away they have any time and they come and approach me that we are getting stuck here, and I should be able to help them, to share them what is their path to success. What it is a give win-win situation for both of us, because they are today's children, they are today's team members. I might learn new from them. If I don't have the ability to learn from them, I would not be able to give it to them as well. So it is equal give and take. So one has to be very coachable, not understanding whether you are 20 years elder to him or you're 20 years younger to him. It doesn't matter at all.
Beautiful. I have a question for you, and I wanted to ask it, and it's been beautifully put. We have Lata with us here. She's an HR professional and a cybersecurity person in her organization. I wanted to ask how important it is to have a mentor in your professional life. And if you had one, if that's her specific question to you, but is it
Mentor in
important to,
profession.
yes,
Yeah, sorry.
in your work?
Sorry.
Yeah. Is it
So it,
important, and did you have one?
yeah, I had mentors in different parts of my life. As I said,
Okay.
as I grew up, my mentor and my role model was my father, because being the alpha man, and my grandfather, of course. When I got married, definitely I looked forward that my same thing continued in my husband when he supported me in all the things that I did. Then there comes life when you are totally professional. So I had several celebrities in my life, like professionally, I can say that. And I used to follow them, and I still follow them. And I really feel they, how they follow, how they, what if they are falling in such a situation? What if I was in that situation? How would I have dealt it? So there are, in different point of time, different parts of time, you cannot have one mentor in your life. It depends in which field you want to pursue, and what is the mentorship that you do. It
Beautiful.
depends. From my time, from different professional parts of my life, I had different stages, I had different mentors. They were my line managers, they're the persons whom I reported into. There are people who were reporting into me, I've also considered them as my mentors. And
Beautiful.
there are some of my social friends who are very, very closely connected to me, and I learn from them how to live life today. And that is what, it's not only professional, it's about personal contribution also. I really learn from them how to enjoy life, how to have a work life balance. I have those mentorships with me.
Beautiful. Puneet, I have known you to be a perfect bindas person when it comes to having a work-life balance. And I'm using a very cliche word, work-life balance here. What I mean is having a balance between your home life, your professional life, your social services that you do, and of course, pursuing your dreams, your aspirations. How do you manage it? Because all of us have those 24 hours a day. And when I read what you've done in terms of achievement, in terms of the kind of hobbies that you pursue, and then say, acha, meko social service bhi karna hai. And by the way, I'm also planning to go for Mrs. India. Guys, all those who are watching in here, she's actually a contestant for Mrs. India this year. So how do you do it is a question I would like to ask. And I would also like to learn from you here.
So yeah, I used to, when I started my professional journey, if not a commercial pilot, definitely I wanted to, pursue my career in modeling. And so that dream
Okay.
remained inside. And now this year, I used to model earlier also. I have done some brands outside India, because being a known face in India, I was a professional. So I think so it should not impact my, career here. So I used to do that modeling assignments outside India. I used to do in some parts of London and Canada. But this year, when my brands added some value to me, and I was declared as Mrs. India International as a finalist, I just could not believe my eyes and myself. But then it's not about beauty. It's about your overall 360-degree approach. You are
And
just not a model, you are a role model. Because, and my journey has been so fantastic up till now. I really learned so much, because now the pageantry and your peers who are in that pageantry, they are the real beauty queens with you. And every day I'm learning so much from them. The way you talk, the way, the art of doing makeup, the humbleness, which it teaches you more humbleness, more
true.
in a sense of more gratitude, a sense of belonging, that yes, I have to do. And then your social awareness program, the social awareness program about cyber security for kids, I picked up during that only. This is what we have to do. And then I, normally, we used to see the role models, how do they carry themselves so nicely and all that stuff. So I really liked dressing up myself all the way. I
That
always
I
loved dressing myself, always be, very goody goody. But now, being in this glamour world now, it becomes like an impact. Yes, I how means it's giving me a further enhancement to my how to beautify myself, the way I will walk, the way I will carry myself, because it
yeah.
is helping me not only in being a beauty representation as Mrs. India in the international platform, but also it is an enhancement in my career, overall career also. Because when I am delivering as a keynote speaker certain speeches and all that stuff, where exactly I'm going wrong, where how my aura is going positive, where I'm being very loud, where I have to being humbled down, where I have to slow up. It's teaching me those different, the things that you go through your journeys. So really impacting me very well. And another thing which I really like about golf, which I pursue very nicely, it teaches you a lot of patience. When you have so much of aggression at the top level and stress because you have to meet deadlines, you entire management eyes are on you because entire organization are tech savvy today. And IT is no more, technology is no more as a back office function. Technology enables business today. And the new age technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, cyber security, information security, you really have to equip yourself against, you have to maintain your bar so that you're not taken for granted, not only in your in your ecosystem by your line managers and the people you're supporting to, but you are the brand ambassador or you are the front face of the organization where you're doing these innovations. So that also, that hobby, that is also, you cannot say it's a part of your professional curriculum. That is how you take it, because every time you have to equip yourself with the latest technologies. And that is also becomes as a passion in myself. This is how I keep on doing.
Beautiful. Puneet, I learned something today. I always believed that golf is an old man's game. Trust me, I always, and whenever I was told golf, I said, okay, old people play it. But I think what you said made a lot of sense. It teaches you a lot of patience. And as you go higher in the hierarchy, the pressures that come in, I think it's important. So a good learning for me today that golf is not an old man's game anymore for me.
No, not at all. And especially,
I always joke with my dad, he's a golfer. So I always say it's an old man's game. That's why I play more aggressive sports. I always used to tell him that.
Golf, long drives, and my passion for cooking also. It gives me a lot of stress buster, Whenever
I am coming for tuition classes to you very soon in Mumbai once the lockdown gets over and the COVID situation gets better.
How you want to pursue yourself?
Apart from cooking, everything else is fine. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few true and false questions. You need to say whether it's true according to you or not. Okay, so the first one is, branding is more than just marketing. True or false?
False.
Branding takes conscious effort.
True.
Branding is for people who have achieved some social status or position.
False.
People can easily be fooled by aggressive marketing.
False again.
Marketing yourself will lead you to being a strong and powerful brand.
True.
Consistency is one of the keys of being a powerful and successful brand.
True.
Appearance matters when it comes to people judging you.
False.
Women are more conscious about their brands than men.
I think so. It has to go. Neither true, neither false.
Branding is culturally driven.
False again.
Okay. Branding oneself is important for corporate success.
Somewhat true.
Okay. So we come to the last part of the interview, and that is the rapid fire round. Are you ready? Because I am ready. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Which of your counterparts at work inspire you?
Pardon me, I couldn't hear that.
I want names, or if you can name some of the counterparts, some of your colleagues at work who inspire you to challenge yourself and go ahead. Go on.
So challengers, okay. In my early days of my professionalism, a person named as Mr. KB Singh, who was my mentor in Reliance, he was my reporting line. He really inspired me in my life. In professionalism, secondly, in Manapuram, Mr. Nandakumar, who happens to be the CEO and managing director, I have seen him working and pursuing all his things together. He's really a part of my, I really take a lot of findings from him. Still, in case I want to speak to him, always make it a point, either text him or, take some kind of a feedback from him. And in personal and professional, as I shared with you, my father, who played a very big role in my life. And today I have two main friends whom I will be open giving my credit in case I am his one of my social friends. I don't know whether
Right.
it will give
No, you don't
credit
want
to
to name
them
them,
as
it's
well.
fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
pardon me.
It's okay if you don't want to name. I just want to know. So we always have people who inspire us all the time. That's so
Yes,
true.
definitely. I have two
One
such
word,
motivator and inspirations in my life, out of my
beautiful,
social life.
beautiful. One word that defines you.
Unstoppable.
Awesome. One song or poem that represents your life.
One song.
A song or a
It's the
poem or
song from the guide. It's a song from the guide.
okay, go ahead. Which one?
Very nice song.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to sing. That is
You
something
can
which is
recite
left.
it. I'm okay with you saying this, reciting, speaking the song rather than singing the song.
तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग है ओ जहां भी ले जाएं बाएं हम संग हैं ओ तेरे मेरे सपने अब एक रंग हैं.
Beautiful, beautiful, awesome. If you could undo one thing in your life, what would that be?
Undo one thing in my life.
Yeah.
If I could get one blessing or one mantra from life, from God, about reincarnation, at least I could have learned what was I in my past lives.
Okay, that's interesting. Never heard that before, honestly. One thing you want to change about yourself, Puneet.
One thing I want to change about my life. I
About
want
yourself.
to about myself.
Yes.
I want to something which I want to is that I basically accept my weaknesses in life from anybody.
Okay. So you want to
I'm
change
very
that?
open to it. I want to change. I want to improvise about on that.
Okay. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
It's the legacy. It's about my work
Okay.
and definitely, maintaining a good work-life balance. Because the way which is industry 4.0 or 4.5 or 5.0 is talking about all personalization and
Hmm.
one to one's connect, being social, restricting yourself. I think so that is something which today's generation has to really learn on. So I think
True.
so that is something which I would really say, mingling and working together, and enjoying every moment of life. You don't know what is next moment. So whatever comes to you, adapt it and enjoy it. That's what you want to do.
Beautiful. What is your personal brand statement? I can give you lots after me speaking to you for the last couple of days, but what is your personal brand statement?
So if you can give me some 4 5
No,
of
no, no,
them, I
I
can
will
give
not.
them.
First, you give me, then I'll conclude it with that word.
I have two things in my life which I see,
Okay.
that 2 to 3 things which I loved. One, when I grew up, I said, like, do good and forget it.
Hmm.
Being humble and always in gratitude for anything. जी
Hmm.
कहोगे तो जी करवाओगे. If you want respect, please give respect.
Very
Okay.
nice.
And the third thing for a lady or anybody, be that daughter-in-law of the house, accept what you want to learn and then start making small changes.
Beautiful. मेरे हिसाब से तो आप बिल्कुल जिंदा दिल डायनामाइट हो. That's what I
That's the
actually
lovely,
noticed to the
lovely
person who
compliment
referred you. I said you are Zinda. I've never seen a more Zinda. I've
That's
not
so
seen a more
nice to
Zinda Dil person than you, and you're a dynamite. Trust me. That's what I wrote to the person who introduced me to you. So Thank you so much for coming in the show. Before we end, any last parting words to women in particular or people in general on how to live their lives? And what is your suggestion or, whatever to them? All those who are listening to us.
One thing giving back to society today, when we talk about International Women's Day and all, and when we talk about diversity in professional life or being young entrepreneurs, we talk about equality, right?
Yeah.
Does equality, were women not there earlier? Why is only during this era women has considered to be International Women's Day? Women were always empowered, women are empowered, and women will be empowered. And what I feel is that when today's women feel that they want to talk and they have to be in equality to their men in the household, because they say that we should get a house where we should be allowed to work, to pursue our passion, to pursue our hobby, and they expect their husbands or the males of the house to equally contribute in their household work to maintain good life, because they are also moving out and so are men. And when it comes to monetarily, and why it is being called, especially with regard to Indian world culture, it is a men's show. Barkat hogi to khali male members se hogi. No, I would have one thing, that all ladies, if you feel that the equality should come where the men should contribute in the household work, you as a person, if you're working, should be equally contributing monetarily to the house also. If they are allowing you, you should also be allowing to contribute equally in running the house. That is what I feel. Identity doesn't mean that you are identity and you are independent and you just go on earning. It is only for your security. Your security lies with your family, not as an independent woman. It has to be with. So that is what I feel. What today's young generation, and what I see, I feel pity when I see 2 years, 3 years marriage coming on at an ending, and more people getting separated and all things. I think so. Time has come that wave has to be recycled again. So this is what my request to the young ladies and the young girls, especially. Please contribute equally. If you expect your men should also contribute equally to you.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, Puneet. It was a pleasure to listen to you. And
thank you so much.
It was inspirational. Trust me. Thank you so much. And
thank you for the opportunity of getting me on this platform. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. It was a very interactive session.
Thank you. For all those who've been listening to us, if you have women who you think are inspiring, women leaders, I would love to interact with them. Do send in their names and a short bio. We would be floating in a questionnaire very soon. But in case you do want to recommend somebody who has inspired you, it could be male colleagues, also male bosses. It could be just your neighbor there who has held a position and is a brand by themselves. Please don't write in to us. We would be happy to interview them. Thank you so much for joining in on a Sunday afternoon. Have a fantastic evening. Stay safe. Please obey the rules of the lockdown in whatever state you are in, and hope we come out of it safe and sound.
Thank you, all my viewers. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nandita.